Let's try one more time. Second verse, same as the first. Can y'all hear me? Ooh, I think y'all can hear me. If you can hear me, give me something. There we go. I can hear myself on the TV. So, hey, y'all. Hey, it's your girl, Tay. Happy Monday to y'all. Happy Monday to y'all. It is Live with Tay, where we have real conversations with dope people that you should know. And tonight is an extra special night. So, tonight, I'm not only got my friend, and people use that word lightly, but I really do consider her my friend. And once you all hear from her tonight, you all will understand why, because she's just amazing. And y'all know I always hook y'all up with dope people that you should know. So tonight I've got Dr. Ebonee Empowers Gresham. She got so many names. She's so powerful. She's an author. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a woman of God, and she's somebody that you'll get to meet tonight. And I think you all will thoroughly enjoy our real conversation. And of course, I've got your weekend recap, because y'all know Tay B's outside, because that's what I've done. That's what I do. This weekend, it was all about the music and community service. So I was out there volunteering in the community as well. So I'll tell y'all a little bit about that. And then, of course, I've got tonight's pep talk for y'all as well. So let's go ahead and get into Tay B's outside. Y'all should join me. Y'all know I always be putting y'all down with stuff. Now, whether or not you choose to come, it's on you. But if you didn't join me this weekend, you definitely missed out on a treat. So this weekend, it was all about Black excellence in music. It was the 9th annual Black Music Honors here in Atlanta. It was a star-studded event. Child, listen, my. I didn't have on my red dress, and then I had on my purple dress, but it was great to see Johnny Gill get his flowers. He looked amazing. Ruben Stutter, shout out Ruben. Ruben did an amazing tribute to Johnny Gill. And remember, y'all, if you don't check him out, Ruben's got new music. Masterpiece is one of my favorite new songs by Ruben Stutter. So y'all make sure that you check it out now. And then, baby, let's get into the ensembles. Listen, Latoya Luckett, baby. She had shout out Jay Bolin. She had some amazing looks on Saturday at Black Music Honors. This was my favorite look. Baby, the way she is rocking this hat, honey, baby, get into it. It was just absolutely amazing. So shout out Jay Bowling and his team. Shout out Meek. Meek don't get a whole lot of credit, but behind every leader is someone who helps them. And shout out Meek for being that styling assistant, because y'all, Latoya Luckett was banging, honey. She was banging. So y'all make sure that you check out Black Music Honors. Will be airing on Stellar Network Saturday, June 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then they'll do a national broadcast June 8th through June 30th on in honor of Black Music Month. And that will also show on Bounce Television on June 19th. So if you follow me on social media, y'all know I'm gonna tell y'all about Black Music Honors, because it was all that. And I got some footage, but I don't want to give it away, because y'all know how Black folks are. So y'all make sure that y'all support Black Music Honors. And then special shout out to the dopest red carpet team, because baby, when I say we slayed and worked on that red carpet. So shout out Ramsey, Snub Magazine, and shout out Dejanay. That was our new friend, honey. But we held that red carpet down, and we were definitely the energy that the red carpet needed as well. So then on Sunday, because y'all know I bees outside, Sunday, I went and supported Sierra Anderson. Sierra is running for office. So if you live in the Fulton County area, make sure that you go out and support her. Voting will be open tomorrow, but she is running for the Fulton County Commissioner for District 6. And so she had an event yesterday in honor of just really getting out in the community and preventing the violence before it gets started. And so shout out Young Dro was in the building. I love Dro. I'm a fan of Dro's music, and I also support him just for what he does in the community, because it's one thing to have a platform, but it's another thing to really get out and really speak to the kids. And so on yesterday, that particular event, they had a little over 100 young people from kindergarten, from infants to kindergartners to high school students, were all there, and they talked about violence, and it was very heart touching. I gotta be honest, your girl was holding back tears because one of the questions that they asked those babies at the event was, if you had to use a gun, would you use it? And the kids said yeah, they would use the gun. And it, for me, was very heart touching, because these are just kids. They should be enjoying video games, playing football, just doing things that kids should do. And these babies said that if they needed to, that they would get a gun, and that they would use it if they needed to protect their family, or if somebody did something to them. And so again, it was an amazing event. They offered jobs for the kids for the summer. They gave free food. They had after school programs, so many different things, and it was free. So shout out Young Dro, shout out Sierra for their work in the community. And if you live in the Fulton County area, please, please, please get out tomorrow and vote for her to be our county commissioner, not just because it's Sierra, but because of the fact that she is a person that has a heart for the community, and she'll definitely help make a change. And so we need someone in office that's going to do that. I'll be out. I ain't even in the county district, but I'm going to be out tomorrow helping and encouraging people to vote for her on tomorrow. So get out, share it on your social media, all that good stuff, because even though we bees outside, we want to make sure that we're outside making a difference and making an impact in our community. So if you have an event that you would like to let us know about, please go ahead and hit me up on the Pep Talk Tay Show at gmail.com. It is the Pep Talk Tay Show at gmail.com. Send me your flyer, send me your information, and you know that I will definitely promote it on my platform. And then if you need a hostess with the mostest, baby, I do that too, because I'll be outside on June 29th for Pretty Women Praise. It is going to be an excellent opportunity for women to get together, to worship, to have true sisterhood, for healing, and just have a good time. And y'all know when I be on the mic, we gonna have a good time. We definitely gonna have a good time. So without further ado, I definitely want to bring up our dope person that you should know for the evening, Dr. Ebonee and Powers. Hey, girl. Hey. Let me tell y'all a little secret. Now, normally I got the person that does the sound check and stuff, but the child needed to have a vacation. So shout out my assistant who is on vacation today. So your girl doing everything, but I told her it was okay. I had Dr. Ebonee in the building today, and we were gonna make it. We were gonna make it do what it do. So Ebonee, welcome to Live. So happy to have you here. Tell us a little bit about your upcoming event with Pretty Women Praise.
Yes. And so as you guys see, it says Pretty Women Praise and not Pretty Girls Praise. I myself and a few of the other speakers will be there. Dr. Letitia Scott, Alicia Smith, yourself, of course, Jamaica Banks, and also myself. And it is for women to come and to heal. It's for us to worship. I find that oftentimes, we get to a place where we all love to do women empowerment. We all love to go to brunch, right? And we get so pretty. But at the end of the day, in the inside, we're hurt, we're crushed, or something's going on, or even if it's not something that's going on currently, things that we have gone through and we don't look like what we've been through, right? Yeah. And nobody knows how you got through it, how you got, through the different things that you had to get through to see what they see, now. And so God just placed it on my heart, Tay, to do Pretty Women Praise, so that we can come together and not just get pretty, not just for a regular, brunch. We can actually praise God and not be ashamed to do just that.
I love it. And so for anyone who lives in the Atlanta area, or it's June 29th. So I keep telling y'all, my out of town family, y'all have time to get here for events, because I ain't gonna steer you wrong with these events. So it's June 29th from noon until 4. Tickets are available on Eventbrite, and we definitely want to see you in the building. Now, Dr. Ebonee, I read that this spacing was limited. Can you explain why you decided to do that?
Mm. For the purpose of intimacy. When you are in a place where you're praising and worshiping God, that's just unfortunately not for everyone. That's
Hmm.
not for everybody. Everybody doesn't understand. And God said to make it not small, but intimate. So it's very selective. Only a chosen few will be it that will come. Those are the people that know that this event is for them. And so that's why we limit the tickets and the space. It's a pretty big place, but we're going to have just 25 women that are there who are not too pretty, right? To praise
Hmm.
and worship.
Now, Dr. Ebony, you said that, and I love that. Not too pretty. And
Mm,
so I want those that are watching this, whether you're watching it live or watching it on the replay, to understand that when we say the term pretty, every woman is beautiful in her own right.
that's right.
Regardless if you got short hair, natural hair, weave down to your back, whatever it is, whatever makes you feel pretty, that's what it is. But a
Right.
lot of times people, like you said, are dressed up on the outside and
Mhm.
they're broken and messed up on the inside.
Right.
Or women will say, you know what, I don't want to come because I don't have anything to wear. I don't
Mhm.
like how my body looks. I
Yes.
don't like this fupa that is fupa
Mhm.
in, or whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. But for this particular event, everyone, regardless of if you got a $1 million outfit on or a thrift store out, it doesn't make a difference. If you have a heart after God, and you just want to get in a space where you can just be,
Right.
Pretty Women Praise is definitely going to be it for you.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Ebonee, people say all the time, I shared this flyer and told people, hey, I want you to join in, come and meet Dr. Ebonee. And the first thing people see is your beauty.
Wow.
And they see Dr.
Yeah.
Ebonee
Yeah.
Empowers.
Yeah.
So when you say Dr. Ebonee, can you share a little bit about who is Dr. Ebonee?
Well, Ebony, before the doctorate, was Ebony Rice, and I was born in Buffalo, New York, upstate New York, to a single mom, and I had my first daughter when I was 16 years old. So I was a teenage mother, and so I still graduated from high school. I went on to Howard University, and when
Okay,
I went to
it's
Howard,
you. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
yes, HU, the real HU.
It's you, that part.
And so when I went to Howard, my mom didn't know, but my daughter's father, he was there, with me. She knew that part, but she didn't know we were fighting the whole time he was there, the entire time, because he saw other guys there.
Mm,
And he, for some reason, felt like he had to attack me. But that was a moment for me where I was happy. I was excited. I was going off to college. And so we ended up getting in a fight, and this is why I said to you that domestic violence really
mm,
hits hard, because at a young age I dealt with it, and I ended up getting pregnant with my second daughter. And
mhm,
so my mom said, hey, do you want me to take her too? And I said, no, this is the bed that I made, and I'm gonna lie in it. And so
mm,
I took my daughter, and I went back home and I left school.
mm,
And that was something that always just, I felt like it haunted me, Tay,
mm,
for my life. It just haunted me that I didn't finish school. And
mhm,
so that's how I got to the doctorate, because in the midst of all of that, my mom passed away
mm.
shortly after I had my second daughter. I had my third child. I had my fourth child. I had my fifth child.
Right,
And
we're gonna get into that part.
we're
So
going to get
if
into
anybody
that.
watching, they might say, wait a minute, did I hear her right? Yes,
Yeah.
these are all her beautiful children, and we're gonna get into that. We're definitely gonna
Yes.
get into that.
Yes.
But in regards to your schooling and your doctorate, I
Yeah.
tell people this all the time when I introduce you, is the fact that and no shade to anyone who has earned an honorary doctorate. I would never, because I understand that sometimes school isn't for everyone,
Right.
and that maybe your services and your works definitely, you've worked hard to get where you are, and so
Right.
they have given you that honorary doctorate. But when we say doctor
Yes.
here, this
This
is
is
not an
doctor was earned and not
this,
given, baby.
this was not given. And there it came with a lot of hard work, sweat, tears, to go through this. And so
Yeah.
when we say doctor, your doctorate is in
Nursing.
woo, 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 take it,
I am
Kiara.
a nurse. I am a registered nurse by trade. And so in the midst of that story that I was telling you, I actually went to nursing school. And I was homeless in my car with 6 of my babies, behind Walmart, right? I need to tag Walmart in there because I need that branding deal. But I was behind Walmart and I was with my babies, but still in nursing school, right? Homeless.
Mm,
And I just couldn't give up. Say I couldn't
mm,
give up. I didn't want to give up. My family is like, well, just come back to Buffalo. And I'm like, absolutely not. This is the opportunity that I have right here to take my family, my kids to the next level, to never be in poverty again.
yeah.
And it was that. But because of the stress, and the challenges that I faced, being a single mom and being homeless with my kids, and trying to go to school, and this is like medical school,
Yeah.
nursing is medical school. I failed my med surge class by 2 points. And so,
Oof.
yeah, on the very last day. So I had already done clinical. I had
Oh.
already completed all the assignments, all the quizzes, everything. And the very last day is when I found out that I failed by 2 points. And it was devastating. It was very devastating. And so I had to wait an entire year, Tay, to get back into that nursing program because they did not offer that class until the following year for
Wow.
that next semester. So that part right there was very hard for me. I ended up catching a case, during that time.
Well, let's pause for just a second. So go back to that. So somebody watching this right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we think of just obstacles, it
Yeah.
could be somebody watching this right now that is like, you know what? I am at the end of the end.
Hmm.
Everything just keeps getting stacked up against me. I don't see a way out. I know that I really want to pursue whatever it is that they got going on right now, but I
Right.
just don't know how I can keep going. Can
Right.
you share when you were homeless,
Mm-hmm.
single mother with your children in a
Mm-hmm.
vehicle behind Walmart, how you didn't give up and continue to keep going to school in the midst of that?
Well, number one, I would say the way my mom raised me. My mom was a drill sergeant in the United States Army. Okay, so we weren't giving up. Giving up was, and I was I was an only child. So just imagine how I was.
Ooh.
It wasn't me and those
All her
siblings.
focus was on
Okay,
you.
all the focus was on me, and I was very spoiled. I will say that. So she was just so strict on me. I just grew up knowing I cannot lose, and that's what she instilled in me. Now, God first, right? Of course, but I thank God for my mother because she would have stickies around the house. She was listening back then to Les Brown, and that's all I knew was Les Brown. I grew up on that. And so to now hear the Eric Thomases and see Les Brown and the Dr. Ebonee and Powers, you see where that comes from because I was trained. The Bible tells you to train up a child. And so I just knew I had to do better. Even though my mom had passed away and she was deceased, I wanted more for my kids. And I knew my kids deserved more. And I knew I wasn't raised like this. So it's like, I just made poor choices. And so somewhere the light bulb went off and was like, it's not over. You got to just turn the page and make better choices and you'll get better results. And that was my decision to go to nursing school. I went to Howard actually to become an OBGYN. So I was going into their medical program. And so medicine was always something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be an OBGYN, but nursing, and being Dr. Ebonee now, it just helped me to get there, but a different route, right? But the same outcome. And so I just knew in my heart, what was my why? My why was my kids. My why was my babies. Like they deserve better. They deserve better than being in a car. They deserve better than, they didn't know anything about food stamps because when we were on food stamps, we didn't have the actual paper stamp. So, but they still had to go in the store with the little green card. I actually kept that card. But it was a humbling experience as well for my babies to kind of see mom and us transition through that to where we are right now. And it was a life experience that I promise you, now I say I wouldn't take back, but then I didn't know, but I had to keep going. You know, I had to pray. And that's where Pretty Women Pray came from, because I prayed so hard. I prayed so hard. My daughter, my second daughter that you got to meet, Luxury, she actually sent me something a little while back and I posted it. And she said, Mom, I remember listening to this song, and it was, I can't remember off the top of my head right now what song it was, but it was a gospel song. And she said, I remember you playing this. Girl, you about to make me cry. She said, I remember you playing this when we were in the hotel off Panola Road. Like we had finally got a hotel because I was going to New Birth. Shout out to New Birth.
Hey, New Birth.
Hey,
old New Birth. Oh, she
old
New
New
Birth
Birth.
and New
With Bishop
Birth.
Eddie Long, and I was going to church. I was making sure I parked that expedition at church. And somehow he found out. By the grace of God, he found out, and they came and got me after church. Eddie Long came out to my truck. And when I say truck, it was an old truck, you know, an expedition. This wasn't no Escalade, you know, or anything like that. And he saw my kids' clothes in there. He saw all of our clothes, and he was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so he brought me upstairs. The elders came, they prayed with me. And he was like, well, are you working? I said, yes, sir, I'm working, but I'm making up barely minimum wage. You know what I mean? With 6 kids, I'm on welfare. I'm on WIC. I'm trying. But, you know, it just don't add up to much, you know? And I'm like, I'm in school. I'm doing clinical. I'm carrying a lot. And so that's when they put us up in a hotel right off Panola Road, a motel, should I say. And the very first one we went to, I was with a female elder, and she was like, oh, no, we're not putting these kids here. She was like, I wouldn't put my family here. But sure enough, the one in the front, they put us there. And, you know, it wasn't a 5-star hotel, but just
something better to allow your kids to be safe versus being in a vehicle, right?
Yes.
Right.
And here's the thing. I reached out to shelters, right? I reached out to shelters, and they either told me that my family size was too large. They didn't have anywhere, right, that they could put me and all these kids, and they couldn't accommodate us. Or they said, well, we don't have homeless people that have vehicles. And I just was devastated. Like, what? You know, this is all that I have. You know, in the midst of the blink of an eye, even what you see right now, right? I can become homeless. And yes, I might have this Louis Vuitton bag and I might have on these nice clothes, but I have nowhere to take a key and turn into a door to call home. So what does homelessness really look like? Like that made me look at it totally different, because people,
and especially right now, when we think about it, shout out again, New Birth. I was watching an interview that Pastor Jamal Bryant had said, Atlanta right now, it costs, there's a wait list for people to get in apartments. Number one, who's ever heard of such a thing? And then number two, it is more to rent. So the amount that people pay in rent
mortgage
is higher than a mortgage.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And so that just means that, like you said, in a blink of an eye, someone could be homeless. So you could have a car, you could have clothes. So what we consider traditional homelessness,
right,
it may not look like that. It may not look what you're expecting it to look. So we really, you know, we gotta look at those different programs. So you can't think it can't happen to you, because situations can change quickly. Whether you got kids or you don't have kids, situations can happen quickly. And we need to make sure that we have resources, or again, that you get out and vote. If it's time to vote in your area, you need to vote, so that you can speak up for things that are happening in your community to make a difference, like homelessness and housing, affordability and things like that. And so, no, shout you out, because a lot of people, oh, I got a headache today, I can't go to work. Well, honey, you gotta keep pressing. Shout out, one of the comments said, perseverance. You know, you gotta keep pressing. You gotta just keep pressing on in the midst of. And so one thing that I love about you, and we have this conversation often, is just being transparent. And so when we think about Pretty Women Praise, your event that is coming up, let's just talk about transparency. So when I first met you, a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, she's got 10 kids. She's married. She looks, she's real pretty, but what's wrong with her? Does she have low self-esteem? Like, what's wrong? There's nothing. The person that people see today,
Yeah.
you are still a work in progress. None of us are perfect. So there's
Right.
things that you've got, different things that you may face now than
Mhm.
you did back when you were a single mother.
Right.
But just talk about transparency and
Mm.
how being transparent is something that is very is something that you really stand on
Mhm.
on your platform.
Right. It ain't for everybody. Let me just say that. It's not for everybody. Some people are not ready. And some people, I think their lives need to stay, right?
Mhm.
Everything. Now, I do use discernment with what it is, that I share and when I share it as well, because there are some times where God tells me right now, this is when you share this. But that was the whole purpose of the push brunch, right? Pray until
Mhm.
something happens. That's the whole premise behind my book, The Grit, the Grind, and the Glory. When God began to show me, right, my purpose, everybody doesn't have the same purpose. But when he showed me my purpose as Dr. Ebonee Empowers, he said, I took you through all of that.
Mhm.
I allowed you to go through all of that so that I can get the glory. And the way that I get the glory is through your story. And
Ooh.
so when I get out and I tell people, I've been homeless, I've been incarcerated, I have multiple baby fathers, right? I was a teenage mom, I was a single mother, but God. That's the other side of it. But God. Now people see me today, and if they didn't know that story, right, they wouldn't know on any of that. So that's where the transparency comes in. And it also, Tay, is healing for the
Yeah.
women that God places in my path, the women that I am placed, and I have the honors, right, and the privilege to work with these women. God says, now go tell her. I need you to tell her. I need you to tell her.
Mhm.
That's how it works, that transparency. So that when they look at me, they don't just see the pretty. They don't just see the
Mhm.
glitz and the glam. They don't just see, I can talk to them. I remember I worked at the health department and I came in there with my white lab coat, honey, I was looking good. And I am a registered nurse here, right? I was a supervisor at that time. And so I'm seeing one of the patients. Now she's on WIC, Medicaid, everything that I used to be on, but she doesn't know that. What she sees is on the outside. And so
Yeah.
she said, well, you don't have, I was explaining something to her, like educating her on something, on an immunization or something for her child. And she said, well, you don't have to down talk me. I said, listen, I came eye to eye with her. I said, listen, I am you, you are me. Not too long ago was I in
Mhm.
this same clinic getting shots for my kids. What not too long ago was I in this same clinic getting WIC for my children. And she
Mhm.
just looked at me, right. So you
Mhm.
don't know what I have gone through. Even
Right.
though I don't look like smoke, I done been through
Yeah.
the fire. I done
Ooh.
been through the storm. So this is why, for me, right? I ain't saying this for
Mhm.
everybody.
But
Transparency is key. And
yeah.
that's what helped me to get to, and even success for me came when I opened up my mouth and I began to share my story, and not for clout, but for the goodness of God, just to
Yeah.
help heal, motivate, inspire, encourage, pull other people through, to say, listen, keep going, keep pushing. If I can do it, so can you.
I love it. I love it. And I'll also say too, a lot of times since I've moved in Atlanta, and this is my truth again, this is a Tate thing. When you come to Atlanta, you walk into so many rooms where there's so many people that are uh dressed in designer gear.
Oh boy, we know we done had this
But yeah,
conversation.
and so and they're dressed in designer, well educated, may have a successful business,
Yeah,
whatnot,
yeah.
and they're just not kind. Shout
Mhm.
out Rich Auntie Lori. I think I just saw her in the comments here. We talk about this all the time. Hey, Lori. We talk about people just being kind to
Mm.
someone because, again, you don't know what it took for them to get there, and you don't know what a person is going through in that moment. It's a whole lot of dressed up, let's talk about
Messed up.
messed
Yep.
up people.
Yes.
People were couples goals not too long
Mhm.
ago when it was Diddy and Cassie. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Or,
Yeah.
oh, child, I give anything to
Yeah.
be with Diddy. Oh, he
Yeah.
fine. He's this. And again, I'm not bashing him because I don't know where he's at right now. But again, I'm using him as an example that you could be in a room with people and admire or think that they got it all together, and they got drug problems, they're getting abused, they don't like
Yes.
themselves. It's a
Yes.
whole lot of stuff. So again, to tell your story, I feel like when you're in the public eye, you owe it to people to be transparent and really tell the truth of what your story is,
Right.
what it has been,
Right.
and what it is currently, so that people don't get souped up in a fairy tale.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
just my,
Life is not a fairy tale.
it's
You know
not.
what I mean? And like I said, for me to share it, I shame the devil, because at this point, it's like running for office. You run for office, and if I was running for presidency right now, you would have so many people that knew me in my past, and they would want to come
Have
up
something
and,
to say.
well, she can't be the president because she did this. She can't. Oh, she's not qualified. But God qualified me, baby. At that point where God said, Ebonee, all of this, listen, it's a fixed fight. My girlfriend Jennifer, shout out to her. She got a t-shirt. It says, it's a fixed fight when it comes to Jesus Christ. He already won. So all of my sins were already forgiven. So I put it in the book. Right now, I'm on stages and platforms, and I'm bringing my sisters with me because I'm like, girl, okay, you've had these abortions, but that don't mean you can't move on with your life. Come on, you've been to jail, but that don't mean you are a felon. You committed a felony act. Come on now. And so I can keep going because I get to listen now. I get to preaching in here, but that is my point, is saying that your past does not define your future. And you shame the devil when you talk about it. But first, you got to heal from it first. It's not for everybody to know until you and God get to a place where you know you have healed. That's when you share it with other people. So I've had someone to interview me and say, well, what do you think if somebody was to say, oh, she's not responsible. She has 10 kids. And because God is still working on me, right? And I try to not curse too much. God is really working on me with that. So I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I will cuss you with my tongue. And so God working on me, y'all. God working on me. But hey, that's just my truth. That's me being transparent, right? But no, for real. I said, I don't care because they are not taking care of me and my kids. I'm not on government assistance anymore. So it doesnst matter. You understand what I'm saying? So people gonna talk regardless, whether you're doing good or you're doing bad. People gonna talk. I did a podcast and it went viral, and you got some people just boop, 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 but guess what? You helping me to go viral. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
We appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So I just say, be who you are. Love who you are in your skin. You know what I'm saying? You will win in your skin. Stop trying to be somebody else. You cannot. And I love who God has created me to be. And I knew something was going on. I just didn't know it was this. And so I'm forever grateful. And with that, I am my sister's keeper to not just keep it to myself, as you see a lot of these people do. They get success and it's for them and their kids and their families. No, baby, I'm taking the whole community with me because that is what God has called me to do in his kingdom.
Yeah. No, and let's talk about it. So the book. I ain't gonna tell y'all it's on Amazon and I ain't got one because I got one too. I got one too. So talk about your book, The Grit, the Grind, and the Glory. Tell those that are watching a little bit about the book and why they should even get one.
Hey, you should get one because you have to have it. It's like the Bible after the Bible. It is a book of talking about resilience, perseverance. That's what the grit is. The grind that it took for me, them days when them lights was off, y'all, or the water got cut off and I had to all I had was food stamps. So I would go and take a big jug of water because I bought that water with the food stamps. All right. And once that water was gone, I went to my neighbor's house, to my neighbor, and I went in the backyard and I put some water from her right next door in those jugs. Me and my kids lined them jugs up and we did what we had to do. That was that grind. That was that hustle mentality that I had to have, in order to persevere. And then the glory is talking about where I am today, and so it's just to inspire other people that when they feel like they can't take anymore, they can't go anymore, they're running out of gas, God, why me? And I just tell them, God said, why not you? It is you. You are the chosen one. He's just preparing you for what he's called you for, which is your purpose. So you take it in steps and in strides. But like I said, once I got here, I now can look back and help other people. It's like driving, you know, and I always say this to folks. It's like driving and you're on the phone with your girlfriend and she like, girl, it's raining over here, but you're on the other side where the rainbow is and it's clear and it's sunny. And you like, girl, just keep coming. But she can't see what you see, but
Yeah.
you can see where she can see. And so I'm just on the phone with all my girls. And I'm like, yo, keep coming. Come on. Come this way and learn as you go. You know what I'm saying? Grow as you go.
And you got to
Because
be
there's a purpose.
teachable. Yeah.
Huh?
Like you just said, learn as you go. We
Yes.
all are teachable. There's something that you can learn from someone, you know.
Yes.
So when somebody says, well, you know, she got 10 kids, she X, Y, and Z, that doesn't mean that there's not something that you can't learn from that individual, regardless of a person's status. That's why, you know, I'm gonna talk to the janitor the same way I talk
Yes.
to the CEO, because you'll be surprised. I got in the Uber car the other day, and the guy, you know, we were just talking, and you know, he said, you know, well, I'm a director and I do films and X, Y, and Z. And I said, you know, I'm sure a lot of people get in here and think, oh, he ain't got no job, he ain't got
Right.
no. Well, he just does that because it's flexible for him and what he's looking to
You
do,
just
you know.
never
So
know.
you just don't never know. And you just can't, you know, we got to stop judging people, because
Right.
again, you look at somebody and have no idea what they're going through. But the grit, the grind, and the glory, y'all make sure y'all get this book. Look, it's not a hard book. Y'all can't get my book because I done highlighted all through there.
And look, it's an easy read. You know, if you look on Amazon and look like the reviews, everybody is saying the same thing. I wanted my first book to be an easy read for people. But like I said, it's my memoir, it's my story, you know, and I stick to it. Now I changed some names in it, you know, for legal
Because everybody
purposes.
be trying to come and say, let me get some of them coins, because you
Right,
know.
exactly. But they know who they are, you know. But at the same time, I think everybody has a book inside of them. You know, your story is just that. It's your story. So write your book, you know. And by the way, I actually birthed 8 children. So when I met my husband, I had the 6 that we're discussing, right? And then he had 2 from a previous marriage, and then we had 2 small ones. So the little small ones you see there, they're no longer that small. That's a fairly old picture right there. But it's so hard to get everybody together, girl. I'm telling you, we need to have our own TV show. They're talking about Kate and 8. They need to see Ebonee and 10, because we did it again. I'm like, listen, we need. It was like the Cosby Show, baby. You need to come over here and get some of this, okay?
Yo,
the Gresham family will have you cracking
funniest
up.
the funniest thing, and I gotta show the picture again, because again, like Ebony just said, the kids are not this size anymore. So
No.
shout out the Push Brunch, the Push crew, because I know they either watch it live and they go watch on the replay. So
Yes.
hey y'all, so you had an amazing event
Yes.
called the Push Brunch, and it was just. I say it to this day. I've been to a lot of different women's events, and I've never encountered anything like that. So I'm honored to have been a part of that, because just you had to be in the room to understand what took place. But your daughter, we were talking, and so she said, the baby is just like, I want this and I want that. She was like, she don't even realize what a struggle is, because
No.
she's on a new side of a struggle.
Listen, the older kids tell me that all the time. So yesterday she had Starbucks, and I sent it to my 2 oldest daughters, and they're just shaking their heads because my daughter said, we don't get no juicy crab, no crab legs, Starbucks. What she know about Waffle House? You know what I'm saying? And she just gets, girl, we was at Starbucks. That's what she wanted yesterday, Starbucks. And yes,
She's so girly too.
her and that's Royal, she's 7, but her and my 12-year-old son, they don't know the struggle, you know. And my 15-year-old doesn't either. He thinks everything's a joke, but he doesn't know, because he was a baby. He was the actual baby during that time. I think he was probably 1, you know, 1 going on 2. So he doesn't recall. He doesn't remember. You know, it's the older kids that remember. But I thank God for what they, you know, they still were protected, you know, by mom, by God's grace. They didn't know much, you know. It's like, you know, children. I went over to Africa, Tay, and when I seen these kids, they didn't know what they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? They were still happy, still had joy, playing in the dirt. They
don't even realize that they're in poverty. So a lot of times, you know, a lot of people will say, like, you know, my mom was very particular about bugs in the house. Oh, my mama is not playing about no bug, right? And so I remember as a child, I went over to somebody's house and I saw a roach. Well, I didn't have roaches because my mama didn't play that. And so the mama said, when I did ooh and did like that, the mama said, oh girl, everybody got roaches. No, they do not, because my mama. So we didn't realize that,
Right.
I'm like, I thought everybody's house, because when you're
Right.
in something, you just think everybody
Right.
lives that way or
And see,
whatever.
I didn't. Like I said, I grew up, it was just me and my mom, but I was super spoiled. I grew up in a very nice neighborhood, nice schools, everything. So again, that was my drive, because I'm like, I didn't come from this. And even if you do,
It's
some
not,
people do, it's nothing, I get that. But I'm just saying, I knew, okay, you weren't raised like this. So these kids don't have to be subjected to this because of your, poor choices. You know what I'm saying? And so I used to stay in houses, I couldn't even afford. And that was one of the reasons why I kept getting evicted, because I'm like, we are not going to the hood, like at
right.
all. We not.
I don't belong there, right?
I don't
You're
belong
like,
there. That's not for me. You understand what I'm saying, girl? So I would get apartments and rent homes that I knew in 6 months I wasn't gonna be able to afford. But I would just leave that one and go to another one, because I wanted better housing and the better school systems, for my kids. Even when I was on probation, for the charge that I had, I would go up in there and I would look around like, I'm not supposed to be here. I was in the welcome defects office, girl, like uncomfortable. Like, I am not supposed to be here. What are you doing? And that's the thing. I think sometimes our community, it's okay to use it as a safety net. But when we get comfortable and complacent, that's when it becomes a problem. So I wasn't too prideful not to get it and use it when I needed to. I just didn't get comfortable and complacent in it.
Yeah, and that's really important. And asking for help. And so, Dr. Ebonee, you have a different story than some, in the fact that you had a lot of things. Like, you came from, although people, it kills me when they say single mother. Well, just because you're a single mother, I know a lot of single mothers that are doing amazing, taking care of their children. So as a single, coming from a single mother, nice home, your mother even said, baby, keep going to Howard. I'll take care of the kids. And you say, no. During the time when you were homeless and going through that, I'm sure you could have asked, maybe, right?
Yeah.
But decided not to. Why did you make that decision not to ask for help?
I will say, it could have been a little of my pride. To this day, I'm still trying to figure out the answer to that. There was a lady I stayed with, and that only lasted, honestly, for about a week or two. She was one of the teachers at the kids' daycare. So when they found out, she offered me to stay with her, but it just made me uncomfortable, especially because I had so many kids and people look at you funny, with your kids, and they want to blame everything that happens in the house on your kids. And one time she did, she came out and she's like, Ebonee, make sure you clean up, after the kids, because the bathroom. And I said, my kids didn't use the bathroom. And she's like, oh, well, the bathroom's dirty. I said, my kids didn't use the bathroom. And so she later found out it was her brother-in-law. And after that, I left. I was like, I can't. So I left her and I went and stayed with another friend, but to be a woman with your own children and people are telling you what to do, or, spy eyeing you and everything that you're doing, you like, So that's how I ended up in my car, because I'm like, I cannot deal with this where people, and then I asked my cousin, and I asked my biological cousin. I reached out to her and I said, hey, me and the kids are living in the car, blah, blah, blah. Can we come stay with you till I get on my feet? And she said, let me pray about it. Well, she came back later and said, God told her no. And so I said, oh, okay, God told you no. But, I forgive her. We talk, to this day, we never talked about that. So she may see that, or she may read it in my book. But again, it's my truth, and we both know that I was in my car with my children when I could have been in your living room. I just wanted a space. You understand what I'm saying? Like, listen, you could put us in a bathroom. I just wanted a clean place to go, and somewhere that is safe. That's all I wanted. And so, it's just.
But nothing happens by happenstance, right? And so, again, I think I don't know about anybody else, but some of the no's that I have gotten in my life made me stronger. And in hindsight, at that time when I got that no, I might have said, I can't believe that they wouldn't do X, Y, and Z. But as I think about what the end result ended up, God always provides. He always keeps us.
He had me the whole time. He had me whole time. And what he told me was what I learned later, and I learned the same thing about the push brunch, mind you, because I was looking for certain people to be there for me. And anytime I'm looking for that, what God clearly says to me is, I don't want them to get the accolades for anything, because all in all, it was me. Because we tend to be like, oh, so-and-so helped me out, girl, so-and-so. God said it was me and only me. When you had nobody, it was me and only me. And I remember my kid's teacher telling me, these kids come to school looking so nice. They did not know I was living in my car. But I made sure that when I washed their clothes at the laundromat, you know how them clothes come out and they nice and hot, honey. I was folding them hot clothes up because they looked like they were ironed, and I put them in a basket. That's what, the church saw, all the clothes in the basket and in garbage bags. But she said to me, they always look so nice. And she's like, they're the only ones that come with their uniforms. Now, mind you, they were little, And I'm just like, and I cried when I left out that day because I knew God was telling me, well done. Like, you're doing a good job. Keep going. They never knew that these kids were staying in the car. And I would leave them at the daycare because the daycare didn't close to 6:30, so they would stay there. Then I would take them to the park in Stone Mountain. And then when it got dark, that's when we went behind, Walmart and everything. And that's when Walmart was open 24/7, at the time. So I just had to strategically kind of like plan it out. They were kids. They didn't know. All they knew.
They thinking it's fun. They
having fun. We going to the park, So, but it was those people along the way, that I met and that, helped us in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I was at church, one day, and a young lady, well, she's an older lady, and she put $20 in my hand. Why? I don't know. But when I tell you that $20 was like 20 million to me, this is why I feel so indebted to New Birth, because my blessings were coming. God was saying, you keep coming, you keep seeking me, and my blessings were coming every time I was at church. You know what I'm saying? So, I just couldn't ask for help. You weren't going to find me on the corner. I'm sorry. That's just not me. I can't hold the sign and everything like that. But that car was just enough. It was just enough.
Lord. And so Dr. Ebonee is having an event. So if you're tuned in, I see some more people tuning into the live. Make sure that if you are in the Atlanta area, check her out. It's Pretty Women Praise. Now the seats are limited because she's doing an intimate space, but that's all right. That's okay. Because I hear that you got your push brunch coming back bigger and stronger. And later on this year. So for those, and I should have put a picture up of the push brunch. Can you tell those that are watching a little bit about what that was and what the inspiration was behind that?
Yep. So the push brunch, pray until something happens. God has called me to be a midwife to women, to help them to push beyond their limitations, right? It's just like being in the birthing room. And that is my keynote speech that I speak when I go to most places, especially, women empowerment events, is to continue to push, to stay in the birthing room. When your legs are in those stirrups, you're ready to push. But God wants us to always stay in that position, always stay in that position. So whatever it is that he is trying to push through us, we are ready. And so God told me that he gave me this platform, not just for me, Tay. He gave it to me for the world, for the other women. And he placed it on my heart that I used to be in the audience and I used to see other people speaking, and I would say, that should be me. That could be. Why is that not me? And I know so many other women that feel the same way. And so God said, now I want you to take your platform and give them time to speak. It wasn't about me. It was other women that are not celebrities, that are not influencers, that don't have 20 million followers, right? May not have all the connections, the PR, the manager, the lights, the camera, showing up, but they got something to say. Okay. They got,
because they still somebody.
They still somebody, baby. All those women up there. I'm not saying everybody that's up there don't have any of this. I'm just saying this is for your average, everyday modern woman that may not have that spotlight. And God said, but you do. And so I created, that's where I curated the push brunch, where women can come and share their stories, their testimonies, and get to see that we are all created equal. We are all pretty much alike. Because even with our panel discussions, it was so hard for women to decide which one they wanted to speak on because we all had shared the same stories. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I can talk about domestic violence, but I can also talk about grief and loss. But I can also talk about, you see what I'm saying, sisterhood. So That's where that came from. And then it was the spirit of giving, where we just gave. Everybody was given. It's not just the people in the audience. It's not just the speakers. We all are here to give. In order to receive, you must give. And so that's where the push brunch came from. I am getting ready after we have Pretty Women Praise. I'm getting ready for the push conference, which we're going to go even bigger this time to open up the platform and the space for more people to come together, more panels, more keynote speakers, and so on and so forth. And so God is just doing a great work in me. And I thank him for choosing me. I thank him for calling me.
Yeah, no, I definitely, you definitely have a calling on your life. We have this conversation all the time.
Oh, thank you.
So I want people, if, I tell y'all, it's Live with Tay, real conversations with dope people you should definitely know Dr. Ebonee Empowers. Get her book, The Grit, the Grind, and the Glory. It's available now on Amazon. And I tell the people how to follow you. So if somebody's like, oh, I'm feeling her, I want to come to her event. How can they follow you on all social media platforms?
Yep. So on all social media platforms, you can follow me. I'm at Dr. Ebonee Empowers or Dr. Ebonee Gresham, right? I'm also Googleable, and I'm proud to say that. You can Google me and you will find pages and pages. I didn't just start doing this. Like, this is what I do, for at least the past 2 to 3 years. And so whether it's nursing, sisterhood, now events, right? Speaking, coaching women, because I have my own inner circle where I coach women in my inner circle. You can find me on Google and all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Dr. Ebonee Empowers or Dr. Ebonee Gresham.
Well, listen, y'all, stay tuned. She's doing some major things, and what you see is definitely what you get. Just a kind-hearted person. I am thankful for you, and say it just publicly, just for if the spirit hits me and I pick up the phone, I know I can always have a real heart-to-heart conversation with you, and I appreciate that because when you are in media or just when you're doing anything, you could just be a school teacher. You always need somebody that you can lean on and have a transparent conversation. And it's okay to say you're not okay. To say, hey, how you doing today? Today is not one of them good days, but I'm going to be okay. Just to have a safe space to have conversations with people is priceless. And so I thank you for being that in my life, and for this amazing book as well. Because it has
Did you leave your review on Amazon, ma'am?
I need to. I'm going to do it. Because I was blessed. I didn't go through Amazon. So that's why I was blessed. And so stay connected to people. Because you never know. So this is the pep talk of the night for y'all real quick as we close out. Never be afraid to step out and help someone else. True story. Dr. Ebonee and I, we have been following each other on social media, knew of each other, and happened to go to a particular event. Yeah. She got up at the event and was telling the women there about the push brunch and what she planned on doing, X, Y, and Z. And so as I looked at her, I was like, I definitely want to go there. And to know me is to know I have a giving heart. It's who I am. It is just what it is. And so I said, hey, let's connect. I would love to promote your brunch on my platform. Let's get together, X, Y, and Z. And so I was like, I think we're already following each other. She's like, yeah, we're already following each other. So fast forward, something happened, and the person that was supposed to be her host was—
They weren't supposed to be.
It wasn't supposed to be. And I had that opportunity to be a part of her push brunch, what led us to— it was just God's way of connecting us together. And I'm grateful for that. So anybody who's watching, don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to connect with someone else. You never know who you connect with and how that person can bless you. And it's not always in monetary. It's not always in items, stuff like that. Sometimes someone could just say something to your spirit that your soul needs, or you needed to be in a room that was going to minister to you, or the women that I met at the push brunch, I still speak to this day.
Yes.
It's a true sisterhood where we
Yes.
all, girl, you do that. I've been looking for somebody to do that, X, Y, and Z. And so I say all that to say, ladies, we are powerful alone, but we are so much powerful when we get together. Y'all may not be the best of friends, because I always tell people use the word friend a little lightly or too loosely, but there could be a reason why you're needing to connect with a woman. So it doesn't take anything away from you to speak. It doesn't take anything away from you to give someone a compliment. It doesn't take anything away from you to offer your services to somebody if you know that they need it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take anything away from you. It really could add to you. You never know. So I encourage you all, please, 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 if you can, get your tickets to Pretty Women Praise. Follow Dr. Ebonee Empowers, because this is Live with Tay. Always putting y'all down with real conversations with dope people you should know, and events and places that you definitely need to be in. So until tomorrow, no, I'm lying, because tomorrow I'm going to a concert. I love language. So tomorrow I'll be at a concert, but on Wednesday, join me as I introduce to you all another dope person you should know, Dr. Kim McNair. She's having a summer program for our youth, our young ladies, to teach them leadership. And she's got some events going on for the adults as well. So make sure that you check her out. And then, you know, we couldn't get it done without our creative designer. So Designs by Dana J. Shout her out if you're looking for a website, looking for flyers, looking for any marketing material. Feel free to hit her up. Designs by Dana J. We would be lost without her here on the Pep Talk and Live with Tay, because she keeps it all together. So
I know that's right.
Until next time, y'all, peace out. Make sure that you like, subscribe to our YouTube page. And if you like this live, if you're watching it on social media, make sure that you comment. Let us know what you enjoyed. If you have any questions, tag us so that we can relate back and forth to you. And then share it with somebody else, because your friends may not be my friends, but we can be friends. I think that's what Biggie said.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You never know what could happen. So until next time, y'all. Love y'all. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.